A lot of people really did like the last video explaining why you're horrible at fighting Zelda, and we had a video about Yoshi as well as why he's the worst character in the game to learn the game with, but we're going to be jumping in and talking about why Marth, in my opinion, is the absolute best character, I say he is the best character to learn the game with. And there are a couple of reasons why I think that. If you know anything about Marth, the number one thing that everybody thinks about when they think about Marth is his tippers and having good spacing and practicing spacing or getting a good reward out of your spacing. And the reason why I think it's a good thing as a character to learn the game with is because, of course, you get the damage, and that's great. And if you get good spacing, you're rewarded with that, and it makes sense just based on his mechanics. But I think the bigger thing for me is that you get an audible cue. You get an audible cue when you actually get a tipper to say, okay, that was actually good spacing. Because you can have decently good spacing with him and land on a shield or hit a shield with decent spacing or barely graze somebody with decent spacing and not get a tipper, and it was still actually safe. So you can kind of get into that smaller threshold to say, okay, right here is an absolute tipper. Anything from here to here would be safe, even though it would be a sour spot, and anything from here to the hilt would be not safe or landing on shield or anything like that. So I think that's the number one thing is, of course, his spacing. Number two for me is he does, believe it or not, he has actually decent combos. He has the ability to combo from sour spot into sweet spot as well. So you can tell when you actually want to go for a unsafe sour spot that will lead into a tipper and give you a bit more damage or a better scenario based on your opponent's percent. That's going to be, I guess, number two. I don't know if you call it number two. The other thing I really do like about him is this is a character that rewards patient play. His playstyle revolves around his walk speed, the ability to space, and the ability to push a lead if he has the lead. I can say in some cases he can struggle if he's behind. If you don't know how to deal with projectiles, it can be hard to deal with projectiles with him because he doesn't have a reflector or a projectile of his own. But he is fairly fast, but I do like that it makes you play patient with him. If you try and rush in with Marth, more often than not, you're not going to get your tippers, so your spacing is going to be bad. And you're probably also going to lose because you're not getting a lot of damage. You're not going to be getting your kill confirms or your hits that actually kill. So the fact that it forces you to walk more, play more patiently, and space your attacks is all around going to make you a better player in general. He has the fastest walk in the game. Like, him and Lucina have the fastest walk in the game. So it really rewards you to have a character that can actually thrive off of walking and have a variable speed as far as how fast you want to walk and not be so devastatingly slow that it makes more sense to just dash around. I also like that he has big, huge arcing hitboxes. So he has fairly safe moves to just throw out. As far as if someone's above you, you could go for a forward tilt, an F smash, or an up tilt, and you could potentially still hit them, or an up air if someone's above you. And all of these moves are still going to be relatively safe based on the situation that you want to get. If you want to send them off stage to the sides, you have your forward tilt or your F smash if you're actually going to get an F smash, or you have your up tilt or your up air and it sends them into a juggle situation. Also, since his moves are very, very straightforward, his tilts send straight to the side, right? Down tilt and forward tilt send to the side. Up tilt and up air, they send straight up, right? Forward air, back air send to the sides. So when you hit someone, you know what you're going to get. You don't have any really weird hitboxes where it's like a down tilt that sends straight up, for example, because it's made for comboing or something. You have down tilt, which sends at the absolute lowest angle, right? Then you have your forward tilt, which sends at the most horizontal angle. Then you have your up tilt, which sends at the highest or straight up angle, right? So you can also say to yourself, based on those attacks, it can teach you to set up certain scenarios that you actually want. So if I go and run up to somebody, if I want to go into a tech chase situation, run up and down tilt. It'll give me a tech chase situation every single time, provided that they're at a high enough percent to go into tumble. If I want a edge guard or ledge trap situation, I can go for a forward tilt or a nair or a fair or a back air, or you don't really want to use dash attack, but also you can use dash attack as well. And you'll send your opponent either off stage or to the ledge, right? If you want to shark a platform, he has his up tilt, his falling up air, rising up air, and ultimately an up smash if you have a super hard read, right? If somebody happens to miss a platform tech and then they roll or do a get up attack, or you can time a neutral get up with your up smash and you can catch them. Sure, those are all good and well. Another thing that I absolutely love that Marth has, which is a super good thing when teaching someone how to play the game, is he has his shield breaker. His shield breaker, yes, it has a lot of strength. Yes, it has tipper. And yes, it has a lot of range, right? It's as far as this reaching move, and that's great. But the thing I like the most is that you can identify your opponent's habits as far as saying they are shielding too much. You have your ability to get a grab, and that's great, but you also have your safer option as far as from range. If someone's shielding a lot, instead of accidentally, I don't know, going for a tomahawk grab and missing, or like dashing in for a grab and getting whiff punished, you can go for a shield break, which is a shield punishing move. And also if they are not shielding, you can also challenge a lot of moves with that as well. Oh, another thing too, with Marth's shield breaker, it's a move that kind of puts everything together as far as it has the ability to condition somebody to act out of shield. You can break shields with it so you can get setups, which is always exciting, sure. But also you get rewarded for spacing again. So you're never not thinking about spacing. The only move that he has that is not spacing dependent is Dolphin Slash. Everything else, Sour Spot and Sweet Spot. That's the only move as far as I know. You can correct me if I'm wrong. I'm pretty sure X put out a video talking about this a long time ago, where Dolphin Slash is the only move that is not different from Lucina's Dolphin Slash, and that's because it doesn't have a Sour Spot and a Sweet Spot. It's just if it hits you, it hits you. I'm fairly sure that's what it is. Speaking of counter as well, having a counter, honestly in Smash, it feels a little bit gimmicky. Like you don't want to just throw it out for the sake of throwing it out. But I can say that having a counter is another conditioning tool which you can use, or an anti-conditioning tool, is if your opponent is pushing a ton of buttons, having a counter can allow you to make more reads. So this is a character that as a whole gives you absolutely everything. He gives you the ability to see if you have conditioned somebody into shield, right? You have the ability to slow someone down if they're being aggressive with your counter, right? You have the ability to space things poorly or space them well. In some cases, spacing them poorly or getting a sour spot can be a good thing. That can lead into the tippers, like I said before. But then also you get that audible response or audible cue to say, okay, this was a good forward tilt. This was a good back air, right? Another thing as well is this character, although he can struggle to kill in a real life situation because spacing is obviously not going to always be perfect, he does have the ability to do everything as far as kill or set up situations in every aspect of the game. He can kill from a missed tech, he can kill from a platform setup, he can kill off the top, he has the ability to kill from a ledge trap situation, he can kill by going off stage, and he's versatile enough to do all of those things. Of course, his only real downfall, in my opinion, is that you unfortunately can't get a tipper whenever you want to. If this character could give you a tipper every single time you actually tried to get a tipper, then yes, in my opinion, I think he'd actually be one of the best characters in the game, period, let alone best characters to actually learn the game with. And there's a lot of factors that go into actually getting tippers with him as well. So you're not always going to get a tipper just based on your spacing against your opponent, but even if they're in tumble, for example, when their character is flipping through the air, there's potential that their hurt box shifting can give you or take away a tipper, right? So you could have a perfectly spaced tipper S smash if they were standing, but since they're flipping, you hit their knee or you hit their arm or their leg or whatever, and you get a sour spot. So that's something that's very inconsistent, and you can't really... It's borderline RNG, unfortunately, because it's just based on if somebody happens to do a certain flipping animation, you're not going to get a tipper. That's the only real issue with this character, in my opinion. Besides that, great ground speed, has a disjoint, right? Having a disjoint in this game is so incredibly underrated, like as far as having every move be a disjoint. So he doesn't have like kicks and punches and stuff like that. He just has all sword moves. So that is a massive plus for him as well. I said the great ground speed. I don't know his exact weight, but I think is he mid-weight? I know he's floaty as well. He's mid-weight. Oh, and another thing too that's super useful for him, and this is an even better thing. This is probably one of the most important things for him as well. So you have an out of shield option, you have to turn around to make it situationally viable. And what I mean by that is, if you do an up B out of shield, frame 5, fantastic. You have to turn it around to make sure that you're actually going to hit your opponent and not whiff. Right? So if you have somebody land on the back of your shield, you can go for a back out of shield, or you can do a turnaround up B if it's a faster, if it's necessary to do a quicker punish. I think that's also super useful because it gives you shield awareness when someone lands around you. If they happen to cross you up with like a multi-hit move, do you go for a grab? Do you go for an up B out of shield? Do you go for an air out of shield, a back out of shield? And this is something that's going to allow you to punish a lot of very quick moves on your shield, right? Having frame 5 out of shield is gonna, I wouldn't say it allows you to punish everything, because of course there are moves that are actually defined as not safe on shield, but with the range that they have, it is safe on shield. And there's things that are safe on shield like -2 or -3, like Fox Nair, or I'm trying so hard to not say sex kick, but you get what I'm saying. Like those nairs. Those are the nairs that are very hard to punish. And in a lot of cases, if that happens to land on your shield, somebody's either going to rapid jab, go for a grab right after, maybe jump off the ground with another nair, or do something to try and condition you on shield. If it's like, let's say, Young Link Nair or Fox Nair, if they land on your shield, they can, let's say, do landing Nair into Rising Nair. That Rising Nair is not going to be safe. You can up B out of shield, you can Nair out of shield, right? Maybe even up smash if you're super fast, or depending what they commit with afterwards, right? Yo! Izaw with the raid of 80, bro! Popping off. What is going on, guys? I don't know if you guys came in a little bit late, more towards the end. Bro, I was literally just wrapping up. We're talking about why Marth is the absolute best character in Smash Ultimate. And I'm sure you don't agree. Most people probably don't agree. But he's the best character in Smash Ultimate to learn the game with. I've already done a bit of a rundown to say why I feel that way. He just has super good learning tools. That's my thing with this character, bro. And yeah, yo, I don't know if you guys saw it. Izaw actually made a small appearance in today's video. It was today's video. But yo, no, that's just gonna be a daily thing. No, it's not. Imagine. But yeah, thanks for the raid. I do appreciate it. Just about to get into our bonus question, guys. Bonus question. Conda, I have a question. From the last video, you said to main the best character in the game to be the best. I want to know if you meant to play a top tier or play the actual best character in the game. So this is kind of a follow-up from the last video. If you want to be the best, play the best character. Like, that's kind of what it is. Of course, you can win, you can beat other players without using the best character, but to ensure, and here's the thing, this is where there's a huge asterisk beside this. No one truly can determine who is 100% the best character. A lot of people will say Pikachu is the best character in the game, hands down. Then you have a lot of people that also will say that Palutena is the best character in the game, hands down. Then if you ask, I guess, the Japan scene, they'll say Min Min is the best character in the game, or top tier at the very least. So it partially is going to be a shifting landscape to say which character is truly the best, because it really depends on who your opponents play, right? I'm not going to sit here and say that Snake is the best character, but if everybody around you plays Snake, and then you pick up a character that can truly counter Snake, like let's say you play Ness or Game & Watch, and everybody doesn't want to switch off to play anybody that can beat Ness and Game & Watch, they all only play Snake. If you play Ness or Game & Watch, in that setting, that is the best character. It sounds kind of weird to say that, but in that situation, very specifically, that is the best character to play. If they want to play Snake, you play Ness, and you basically just win. However, in a much more grand, realistic scale, you have to take into consideration which character has the absolute best matchup spread, has possibly the deepest tech, as well as far as your ability to handle every single situation, and also throw people off guard with things that are just super niche. And then just master that character. You have to take into consideration too that the game is going to last for a very long time. If you have 5 more years at least to pick up and play the best character, and ultimately still, we had 2 more DLC, so the best character might not even exist yet, right? Let's say the final DLC character is the best character, and it's Ninja Gaiden, because that'd be sick, and that's what I want more than anything. If that's the case, then play that character and just master them. And the reason, like, the thing for me, like I said before, about having a character with much deeper tech and much more niche situational setups and stuff like that, the reason why that's important is because you have to be able to continuously push your character's meta to the point where nobody can keep up with you, because you're so far ahead with a character that is so vastly in depth that if somebody else tries to pick up your character and ditto you and be better than you, there's no chance. There's just no chance because you're so far ahead with your character. So along with that as well, I take a look, or I think about MKLeo playing Ike and how he was doing incredibly well with Ike, right? But the thing is, Ike is not incredibly deep. He doesn't have that depth of character where he has so many insane setups and can just deal with so many matchups and you can push his meta so much. And that's the thing, is eventually people started to catch up to MKLeo and beat him when he was playing Ike. And he switched off and he was playing Lucina, and he was playing some Wolf, right? And then eventually he went to Joker. And Joker, right now, in my opinion, is a character that has insanely deep tech. He has all the gun setups. He has Fair 1 setups. He has Drag Down setups. He has everything to do with Arsene. He has Dare setups. He has the ability to go off stage with Arsene's guns, or doing footstools, or whatever you want to do with him. He has his grappling hook setups. He has platform setups. He has a ridiculous combo game out of his throws. He has tech chasing forever. He has a disjoint. He's super fast, right? Like, he has all these things about him where it's like, if you try to fight MKLeo's Joker with your own Joker, there is literally no chance on earth that you're going to beat him, because #1 player in the world already, and he's playing potentially the best character. And in my opinion, that's one of those things too why I think that Pikachu is better than Palutena, because Palutena is just simple. She just is simple. Yes, he has fantastic tools, right? And those tools can always be placed in the perfect spot, and you can get all your 2 frames and all your reads and all that good stuff. But eventually, there are things about that character that are going to slow her down, right? What if you just want to play the range game, right? What if you can smother her? What if you have a character that can cover the ledge and destroy teleport recoveries, right? With wind boxes or cape or whatever it might be. There's some things where it's like, okay, this character is clearly the best on paper or on a grand scale based on their tools alone. Like, if you look at Joker's tools alone and that's it, and nothing as far as the intricacies of how you can play the character, then he's good. He's good. But if you think about how in depth you can play with this character, not even on paper, but just to say his ground speed, the ability to get away from being grabbed, how much he can mix up his recovery, the fact that he has 5 different landing options, right? He has aerials, double jump, air dodge, guns down, and Rebel's Guard or counter, right? So he has so many different ways to land, right? He has a disjoint. He has crazy burst options. So it's like, yes, he has all those things, and that's all good and well. But then you put it in the hands of someone who's going to optimize it and have all these different options he can cover at pretty much any given time. The character's borderline unstoppable. The only thing that's going to beat a character like Joker is a character who is pretty much Joker, but better. But as far as, I know that was a huge tangent, I just got started popping off. But for me, I feel like if you are going to try and be the best, you absolutely should play the best character. As far as if that best character is in existence yet, that's still to be determined. The fact that we've had however many DLC characters that we've had, and so far besides, like, Piranha Plant was technically the first one, but it doesn't really count. Joker was the first real DLC character, and we have not had a character better than that yet. Pyra and Mythra are good, but I don't think they're better than Joker. Mainly because their offstage game is horrendous as far as their ability to recover. Donkey Kong definitely doesn't beat Pyra and Mythra, but the fact that Pyra and Mythra can get cheesed by DK super easy just by getting cargo thrown off stage is actually super whack, right? It's actually insane. Yeah, that's one of those things too. As far as learning the game, this is to kind of try and tie everything back together. As far as learning the game, playing as Marth just to get your fundamentals down, but then transitioning over to a character that's potentially super complex as far as their skill ceiling, that would be the best way to go in my opinion. A lot of the reason why I think a lot of players don't do that stuff is because they just don't like a certain character. It's like, oh, I don't like the stigma around playing Palutena, or I don't like playing Pikachu because I don't want to play a top tier. I want to suffer on purpose. You'd be surprised how many people just do that. So you know what? I'm just going to play Ganon because I'll get respect. It's like, well, respect doesn't pay the bills, unfortunately. And going 0-2 also doesn't pay the bills. And not getting a sponsor because you can't go get top 8 at a major or a super major or anything because you're more worried about playing a respectable character, that doesn't really help you out. If you notice as well, All the top players play top tier characters. It's not a coincidence. Think about it. Who is there? There might be one outlier, but I can't even think of it off the top of my head. MKLeo, Tweak, Samsora, Nairo, Void, Mars. I'm clearly missing people. I know this, but Gluttony, Meister, right? Yeah, I'm trying to think. But like of these players, even like you have Joker, Pokemon Trainer, or Wolf, or Wario, Palutena, Peach. You can put Izaw in there as well, and Light, right? Fox, Pikachu, another Wario, Game & Watch. Like these are top tier characters. They just are. No one is coming in here. It's like, oh yeah, oh you can have T as well, or yeah, I put T in there. Yeah, Pac-Man, DeBuzz, like playing Olimar, right? Rosalina is like sometimes. Oh, you can have Zachary with Rob, right? Or Wolf, right? Like you see these guys playing these characters, and it's like, if it's not a top tier, it's like a gatekeeper, pretty much top tier character. It's like not even high, they're the absolute top of high tier as well. So it's like you have your high tiers, whatever they are, then you have like Shulk and Greninja, and then you have the top tiers, right? I feel like if you want to be a top player, you absolutely should be playing a top tier, right? Like this just kind of is what it is. I feel like if DeBuzz played Ice Climbers would be guaranteed top tier, is in the eyes of a lot of people. DeBuzz just has the ability to break his brain in half 15 times and play characters that make no sense to anybody else and just be insane. So if he wanted to do that with Ice Climbers, he probably could. And he would do really well.